Bro, you're supposed to do one clap.
Let's do it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to Waves on Air. Got my boy Ruben on the side.
Fantasy Hill, man. 1-2, man. What's up, man?
Yes, sir. I got my, today we got a special guest today, bro. We got my boy Eli here. What's up, Eli?
How's it going?
Thank you for your time, man.
It's nice to meet y'all.
Of course. That's crazy. That's crazy. But thank you for taking the time, man. Honestly, thank you for taking for the train, coming, down. Your mommy took you here. Very good.
Yes, I came a long way.
Yeah, honestly. So
I'll invoice y'all.
yeah.
Everybody spam W in the chat, man. Everybody spam.
All right, man. So I got a couple of questions for you, bro. But before we get to that, I just want to make sure this is our first podcast, right? It's our first podcast with Waves on Air. All right, so thank you for taking your time, Eli. A little drive over here. Before we get into your questions, it's our first podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we got this means a lot. We've been trying to do this for like quite a while now.
This is like 25 years in the making, ladies and
gentlemen,
gentlemen, man.
Oh yeah, electric waves.
We was over here in past lives, collecting crystals and over here in the caves and shit. Gold mines and everything else. We over here, we came up with this idea. You already know all manifestations come in ideas first,
What the hell are you talking about, bro?
Amen.
What I'm saying? Like Eli's business that we're talking about, that was an idea at first.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? The light bulb was an idea at first. Waves on Air was an idea at first. You know what I'm saying, man? Now, we here,
I feel that. Amen to that. Amen to that, bro. So, that's crazy. That's so crazy. I honestly have no idea what the heck you said.
It sounded good.
It sounded good. All jokes aside.
Now that everyone's uncomfortable as fuck.
all jokes aside, bro. We're gonna be doing big things. We're gonna get some pastors on this. We're gonna get some other business people on this. You're
gonna go from me to a pastor?
Oh, 100%, bro.
That's horrible.
The next
That's
Peter
crazy.
David, bro. That's crazy. But all jokes aside, again, thank you guys for coming. We're excited, Ruben. We're definitely doing this. So, I have a couple of questions for you, bro. So I want to start out by saying, why are you laughing, bro? Why are you laughing? I'm red lighting right now. Hold on. All right. So all jokes aside, I have many questions to ask you. Ruben, you got some questions to ask him too, right? All right, making sure.
A little bit.
All right, you got one or two?
Only got 1 or 2.
All right, that's all that matters. So, bro, I've known you for a long time, and we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that point. But most people that go to college, right? And my boy Malik, shout out Malik. We can't see him, but he's recording right now.
Why'd you say you can't see him?
I didn't mean it like that. He's in the back. But like most college people, they just go to college, do their stupid homework, they dorm. But for you, man, you're one of a kind. Well, at least in that demographic, bro. Mm-hmm. You took the time to grind, to work very hard. You did some videography, you did some photography, but, you came across this one of a platform, it looks like, right? My boy Andres, from Ecuador, he's using it right now in Ecuador. It's all like basically nationwide. So how does a 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid, whatever age you started at, come to an idea like POSH? Why didn't you just go to college 4 or 5 years, get the degree, and, start a 9-to-5 job? Why did you end up starting this company POSH, and how did you start POSH?
So maybe just let's contextualize for like the 2 or 3 people watching. So I have a website that allows people to manage and market their events. It's called POSH. I started it with my co-founder in college because we were throwing a bunch of parties together and we were using Eventbrite and a bunch of similar sites. And I'd had to start up when we were in high school, and so I knew how to code and stuff. So I thought that I should, with my co-founder, build a better site that we could use to ticket to parties. So that's the background for people watching. But I guess your question was like,
My question was, yeah, well,
Crazy.
that's great. That's great.
that's where I was just giving background. But you were saying like how college is different, or
No. So my thing is like,
oh, you making crazy hand motions at me, bro.
no, so let me be more straightforward with my question. So my thing is like, for most people who go to college, right? They just get a degree, get their bachelor's, and they just work the 9-to-5 job. But you chose to make this company called Posh, And
Well, I guess that's what I was saying. I didn't choose; it just happened.
it just happened.
Yeah.
Do you regret it by any chance before?
Oh, not in the slightest. I mean, it's amazing. I love it. But I think that the reason why I do love it is because I think I did try. In the past, I tried to choose to make companies, and I don't think that ever goes well. I think like you have to organically do something from a place of like genuinely trying to solve an issue, and that's when you find like one of those magic problems where it turns out that there's a ton of people having the same problem that you can then build a product off of.
No, I 100% agree. Before we get to that subject, because that's a great point you make. I think you're the first person to actually bring across that point. Like, oh, we gotta find something to solve a problem, right? Any company, right? Is that what you're saying?
The podcast's only been running for 3 minutes, so I'm definitely the first person that's supposed to stay on the podcast.
Yo, I'm gonna talk to your boy, man. Talk to your boy, bro. No, you're man funny, man. You're a character, bro. No. So let's go back. Okay, where did you study in college?
NYU.
And where did you come across your partner Avante?
On Instagram, I saw a video of him DJing, and then I literally just DM'd him. And my networking strategy, which I think worked really well for me with a lot of people, was I would just offer people free photo shoots. So that's what I did with him. And I'd already done that with a lot of people that I ended up working with in the city. So yeah, I offered him a photo shoot, and we actually never did the photo shoot, but we ended up, he was going to Izu. So I was also DJing, and then one night he was going to Izu, and so he was going to be late for this gig that I had asked him about. So he was like, oh, yo, you can open up this club for me, and then I'll come after Izu. And I got there, and the turntables weren't working properly. So people start coming into the club, and like I can't find the manager, and I can't get connected to the turntables, so I'm like freaking the fuck out. So I ended up having to FaceTime him, and he's like walking me through how to connect the turntables and stuff. But that was like our first interaction, so he was probably like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? But it ended up it was like a super dope night. So that's how everything started.
And then like you just like, because you said, I think about 2 minutes ago, you said that you guys were doing events, right? Were you ticketing these events already, or did you host your own events like a hospitality group?
So there was a few college kids that he was working with that were hosting parties, both that they had created and just like from classic like promoter stuff, like where you just have your own list at someone else's party. And then I came on board, and yeah, they were using a site called Night Out. But then we started throwing more of our own like really curated events. And
you said you coded everything, right? So you said you helped develop
when
the platform?
When I started creating our own site, yeah, I was coding it all from scratch.
It's very interesting because, okay, so a company like Posh, right? What makes it different compared to a company like, I think it's, what's it called? Eventbrite or like Ticketmaster. Like, what makes your thing more? You said you solve a problem, right? But why didn't those companies solve that problem?
Yeah, great question. So the original problem we were solving was that Eventbrite and Ticketmaster aren't white labeled. So when you use Eventbrite or like you're throwing an event on Eventbrite, Eventbrite's logo is everywhere, and your branding really isn't anywhere on the page. So like the impetus for us creating our site was that, we wanted our dope logo and colors, everything all over the event page, not this platform's logo. And then additionally, Gen Z doesn't really open emails anymore.
That's true.
So
that's so true.
You could use like a third-party texting service to text blast people. But I noticed that Avante and some of the other guys, were sitting around for hours every Saturday texting people to come out to the party. And I was like, if we capture their phone numbers through our website, then I can build something where you guys can literally just mass send them text blasts whenever you want. And so that was like the second problem that we solved.
And when did you guys start this? You started 2019, right? Or 2020?
So 2019 was when we were throwing parties, and then I started working on the site, I think January of 2020. I know the first like really big party I think we threw on the first version of the site was like February, and that's when it wasn't even a platform. I would just manually switch out whatever event we were ticketing, and like the homepage of the site was the event with the ticketing portal. And that's when I started building to this like Instagram integration where you could see everyone's profile pictures that was going. And then COVID hit, which would have been, we had like this really big party at Museum of Sex, which was like the biggest party we'd ever thrown.
In the city.
That really put us on the map. And I think that was right as the news was starting to spread, like, oh, there's this virus, it's coming over the US. Like the first case was in the US. And then I think right after that is when all the schools shut down. And then, there was no parties. So we were kind of sitting around. I went back to my parents' house, and I was just coding for every day. And then we ended up going to Texas for a month together.
Texas?
To work on the site.
Texas?
So Austin was kind of similar to Miami, where like there were no COVID guidelines. And after sitting around in my house for like, in my parents' house for, I think it was like 2 or 3 months. Cause
you was just like,
I need to get the fuck out of here. Yeah. I was actually coming here where we're shooting the podcast while I was at my parents' house every day to like, was just telling my mom this to walk around and bike and stuff. But I remember it was crazy. Like it drove, I mean, for everyone, obviously. And also I'm super privileged that like, thank God I didn't have any family members that were super affected by it. Anyway, that was a whole tangent, but yeah, we went down to Texas and lived there for a bit, and we continued to build out the site. And then we actually didn't even launch it till October, because obviously it took a really long time for parties to come back. But we launched it October 2020, and it really started working well in Miami, because Miami was one of the first places to come back with parties.
So before Posh, you was what were you doing before Posh? You was a DJ. You was DJ.
I was doing photo video, so music, a lot of music videos, a lot of photo shoots. I was working for a fashion magazine, and I love meeting interesting people. So I was using that strategy I was talking about, where I would DM big people in the city and just say, yo, I'd love to give you a free photo shoot. Let's meet up. I'll take some pics of you, send them over later. Right. I met this one guy that owned this huge boat party company that's now one of Posh's biggest customers and one of my really good friends. But it's cool because there was a lot of full circle moments like that where I met people in nightlife that are now their organization runs on Posh. Yeah. But I met them as like a teenager just networking in the city. Yeah. What are you talking about?
My clear my throat. Yeah. But yeah.
Don't be self-conscious, baby girl.
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy.
That's crazy, bro. No, that's gonna be my signature line, bro. That's crazy. Yo, like a shirt, bro. That's crazy. But last one. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know what's so fun? Okay, going back to that with Posh, right? So, what was it? I think it was about like 2 years ago or last year. I came out of the stewed here at Purchase, and I was.
I thought you were just gonna stop after you came out.
No, that happened after. That happened after, actually. No, the thing is, like, I wear your shirt, right? Posh, the one you gave me last time. They're like, oh my God, Posh. I know Posh. And there's like kids like 14 years old, Posh. You know, my friend from Ecuador, he lives in Ecuador in Germany. He's like, he knows Posh too. So
there was a 14-year-old that knew Posh?
Oh yeah.
That's horrible. We're 18 and up.
No, someone's using that platform.
No. There's actually a lot of high school events. Yeah.
So yeah, I think my friend Jumo DJs for some of them. So what's been 4 years now, Posh, right? 4 years now, or 5 years? How did it's like getting bigger and bigger every year? And no, you gotta pause that. Yeah. You gotta pause that. No, but all jokes aside, that's crazy. All jokes aside, right? All jokes aside, right? It's This. You gotta go. Yo, Wilmer, get your boy to stop laughing, bro.
Hey yo,
How did it like well grow from being like nothing to like being such a whole huge platform now that everyone like so many people that I know use and it looks like worldwide it seems. How did it like become from nothing to like something in 4 years? And I think that's so incredible. A company like yours can grow that fast in 4 years and be so credible. Why is that? Marketing or it's just like something? What do you think?
Yeah, so a bunch of things. Like I was just saying, Avante was super connected in nightlife, which was really clutch at the beginning because we had a horrible product. Like when I first built it, there was bugs all over the place. But because people were his homie, they would use it. Which if we hadn't been like already in the industry like that, I don't know how we would have gotten our first few customers or people that were willing to try it out for us. Additionally, I think I did a really, really good job with branding. And from the start, my job was really to put a ton of time into our visual appearance, which I think a company like Eventbrite doesn't understand for our generation is so important. Like even, and it's also what I think is cool is like, what excites me is companies that have amazing branding where you wouldn't usually think of it as a product that would need that. So for instance, like 5 years ago, I think if the three of us were sitting here and someone told the three of us like, yo, what if you made a really, really dope ticketing platform? We'd be like, what the fuck? Like, who would do that? You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Isn't that kind
I'd
of
be like,
isn't that
no,
kind of bugged
bro.
out? And like Liquid Death is one of my favorite brands. I talk about it every podcast I'm on, but
The water company?
Liquid Death,
Yeah.
the water company, right?
Yeah.
So when before Liquid Death was water cool, like you want to be like, yo, that Dasani bottle is crazy. you know what I'm saying?
But just the aesthetic of things, though. Right?
Exactly. And now people are hyped about fucking water. They just got valued. They're 1.4 billion now. That's how much Liquid Death is valued.
You know what's so crazy,
It's
bro?
like canned water.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. I was literally,
weird.
I was literally, I was working for C4 actually, and bro, I met them like my first day working for C4, and I'm like Liquid Death. I'm like, what?
You
the
met
hell?
people from Liquid Death?
Yeah, I met
Oh,
them
really?
with Liquid Death, and I told Eli about it, and he's like, yo, like this company is. I'm like, well, how could water be so popular? Isn't that crazy?
It's the aesthetic of things.
But yeah, I think
it's the visual, the visualization. Does like Will Smith's son? He has the whole like just water in like the box.
the box water. Yeah,
Does
yeah.
that count as like a whole like aesthetic thing? Cause like people like that.
You think the box water is cool?
A little bit.
A little bit. I actually think it's dope. I actually love Jaden Smith. I think he has a really dope. Oh yeah, his visual aesthetic is sick. I don't know if that was his company or if he just had to deal with them. But I was also gonna say that 4 years is a really long time. And like I'd worked on a lot of other projects before for 12 months. And the other thing I guess I would remind you to think about is like the timeline I just gave you, right? So let's just say a year, right? So October of 2019 was when I was first meeting the Posh guys. We were starting to throw parties. That's when I started putting time and energy into it.
Okay.
And October 2020, we were just about to launch the site. So I'm an entire year in, and I've seen barely any money, and no one's using it yet. Then another year passes from October 2020 to October 2021, and in that time, we raise, we'd only still raised $100K in that year. But now I have my first company that I've raised money for. People like are starting to use it. Yep. There's a host of issues and shit that we have to go through. People joining teams, fire them, site going down. We had a bunch of fraud issues. Another year, fast forward now, October 2022. Now we've raised, close to $2 million, I think, at that point. Now several 100,000 people are using it. But I'm just saying, after that first 12 months in, I could have been like, nah, fuck this shit. I've made no money off of this. And now we're going to build a site with these people.
It's
and at the time, by the way, I had
like
barely any equity. I had to negotiate my own equity up because the company already existed. It wasn't like a company that I joined started. So there's a lot of moments when I was like, should I put my time towards this or should I do something else? And I'm a full-time student at the time. But anyway, I guess the big learning was like, when you work on something for more than like, let's say 20, 30 hours a week for several years, like, it can be flatline, 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 flatline for 2 years, 5 years, who knows? And then all of a sudden it starts to go. And then to everyone else on the outside, like to you guys, you're like, holy shit, how do you get a company in only 4 years that has millions of people using it? But to me, I just spent probably most weeks I'm out 50, 60 hours a week of work
crazy.
for 4 years, which is like a lot of fucking time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like an insane amount of time. So to me, it's like, it was anything but overnight. It was like we've been working on this shit day in, day out for what would have been my entire college experience. You know what I mean?
No, that brings me to my other question. Well, what would have happened if Posh did not succeed that first year, that second year, that third year, or let's just say in 2 years from now, you guys go complete bankrupt. The whole, just like you guys, no one uses your platform anymore. What would you do, or what would you have done if that would have happened?
I guess we'll never know. You know, you ever seen that? You ever seen that?
No, that's crazy, bro. I'm sorry.
What meme was that where they're like, what would you have done if you lost or some shit? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
I know it's all like, all seriousness, bro. All seriousness. Oh god,
Gangster, bro.
Yo. That's crazy. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. No, honestly, all jokes aside, what would you have done? Like, let's say,
Bro, I don't fucking.
you really don't know. Like,
No.
would you have gone to college? Or like, what would you have done? Like, honestly, what was the plan B?
I don't think the college, you know how they say like school isn't the mode in which you learn in school is not built for everyone. And I was definitely struggling in school. Like by the time I was almost about to drop out of NYU, I mean, which was also because I was working on the company so hard, but, I just like could not focus. And, I think I learned by doing, and like, I also really love learning when there's real consequences on the line, and school is such a sheltered environment. Whereas with Posh, it was so fun working with actual customers and like actual money going through this payment processor, and then the fraud stuff happen. Like it's real life. It's so much more exciting. But anyway, all that being said, I definitely still would have been working on film. I think my dream from like, honestly, I guess I could say it still is like at some point to be like a really big time music video director. Like I still really fuck with that and like love doing that. But I don't know. I was reading something the other day that was talking about, or I sent it to you. It was like,
that millionaire guy.
it was don't follow your dreams, follow your strengths.
Correct.
And I don't 110% agree with that, because I do think you should follow your dreams, but I think you should like follow your strengths and then follow your dreams, in the sense where I could have, and I'm sure a ton of people are the similar, where there's something like I would have liked to have keep doing film at the time instead of doing tech, probably more. But now tech has put me in a position financially where hopefully one day now I'll be able to, fund my entire film career that I would have had to, been begging for donations to get my first film going or whatever. So it's just like a different path where now I'll be in a more advantaged position to follow my dream, hopefully, in the next few years. You know what I mean? But I'm still following my dream through the tech thing too. But I was kind of all over the place. But does that make sense or no?
Oh, that makes complete sense. Ruben, you got any questions to ask?
So
Add on to that?
I got a question.
Before I get it.
I got a question though. So
Fantasy Hill.
about
Oh yeah, Fantasy Hill, baby.
Fantasy Hill, the love boat, man. You already know my name. Don't know what I'm saying. Don't hate. But anyway, about Posh though. So obviously, you've been on this Posh thing for the longest time, 4 years. Obviously, from the outside looking in, we don't know what the fuck those 4 years have looked like. Those 4 years probably would have been the most brutal 4 years making Posh happen. And I commend you. I thank you. With that being said, I know there was a lot of mistakes that have been made. making Posh and so on when it comes to financial things going on. Due to those mistakes, moving forward, is there anything that you learned from those mistakes that would evolve Posh more further?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, I make a mistake every day. So over 4 years, yeah, there's a laundry list of mistakes and things that I've learned from them. Top ones are really mostly like management related. Also, what gets really difficult is I make the road mapping decisions in terms of our product, so what we're going to build over the next few months. But the way like tech startups work is, so we have funding, right? And then we're not completely running off of our funding because we have a lot of revenue, but we have like an amount of time basically called your runway, which is like how much time the company has before you run out of money. And when you get to the level we're at now, you know, we have 6 engineers that all get paid like somewhere close to that. Actually, maybe cut that out because I don't know. I don't want to DDoS people. But
That's
anyway,
crazy.
when I decide that engineering should work on something for 2 months, when you add up 6 people's time that are paid that much for those 2 months, plus the designer that's working on it, plus other people at the company whose mental bandwidth is going to thinking through those things, just building something out is a $250,000 investment, right? Over 2 months. So then the way you need to think about that is like, what we're building in those 2 months going to get us, you know, 10x that amount? Like, is it worth the investment? And we really try to think about like what's going to get us to 1,000x, you know, by building it. But a lot of the decisions a lot of what I've been trying to learn recently, and I've actually been trying to get some mentors on this because it's really difficult, is like how to make great decisions about what the company should be focused on in terms of what we're building, and what our growth strategy is and that stuff. And I'm lucky because now we've hired a bunch of really, really smart people that are helping me do that. That all have, you know, prior experience at other companies, which is really dope. But I'd say a lot of the learnings recently have been, related to how we make decisions about what to work on next.
You know,
Is there anything that we should be looking forward to?
oh, good one.
It's a lot of stuff you should be looking forward to. I'm trying to think about because some of the stuff we kind of have in stealth right now that we're building.
Let's see, if you want to keep
Well,
things
the one thing that's
surprises.
about to drop, so we completely redid how you create events on Posh.
Okay.
It used to be like a multi-step process, and now it's literally a single page where you can do everything on one page, and there's little pop-ups on the side, but it feels way simpler. And what's dope is it's in the layout of how the page will be when it's finished, so you know exactly how it looks as you're working on it. And that's on web and on the new mobile app. So it's going to be way faster and easier to create events. And then, we have a lot of dope stuff dropping that's kind of like around gamification and the affiliate payment model in the next few months. So it's going to be hype.
Wait, so I missed that part, you know? So people might have missed that part. So it's not just a ticking app. I can also make events on it, right? So you're saying? So I'm a DJ, or let's say Ruben
Well,
and I.
all the ticketing is, everything's an event.
Correct. But I'm saying like an individual like me, can I make an event on Posh?
You specifically, you might struggle a little bit, but the average person, yes, can go on and make an event.
That's crazy. Yeah. No, I just want to make sure that, you know, get that clarification out there because I didn't know that. That's awesome. So all my DJ lovers, all my promoters out there, if you want to make an event, I'm going to put the link in the bottom. You know, when I post this video on Posh, make it free. It's free, right? It's a free account?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can make that an affiliate link for you, so you get a little,
Yeah.
get some cash back on it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Oh, you gotta get that commission. You feel me? No, I'm just kidding. You know, so going back to what Ruben said, you know, I'm gonna tie on to that what you said earlier. Not just we just asked a little bit before that. So let's say a kid right now, he's 14 years old or 18 years old. They're starting high school, they're starting college. What if
This guy loves talking about minors, bro. It's like,
no,
it's like
yo,
the third-
that's
it's the
crazy,
third
bro.
time.
I'm not even talking about that. That's crazy. You're making some crazy assumptions right now. These are crazy assumptions right now. But all jokes aside, so let's say someone's 15 years old, all right, or 18 years old. What advice would you give them right now? No, because you said you started coding in high school, right? So most people like me, I'm a victim of it. I would chase girls. I would just only chase girls, have a good time, travel, and really just work at the library, right? But let's say, what would you advice would you give them, right? Would you tell them live your life, boy or girl, whatever, or would you just like,
Live your life, boy.
live your life, bro, live your life,
Live your life, boy.
or would you tell them like, start now? What advice would you give? I don't know, 14-year-old or 18-year-old starting high school, college, and they're trying to make something of themselves. What advice would you give them?
I would say start now, but do it in a way where you can still like live your childhood, if that makes sense. Like think about the three of us used to hang out all the time. We would do music video, shit, film. Like that whole time I was picking up skills, working on websites, like learning how to edit stuff, all of that. But we were still like fucking around being idiot high schoolers.
Oh yeah.
And like even with a lot of the music videos I filmed, not for a second did it ever feel like, oh, I'm like grinding to make a business right now. No, it was always like, I love music. I'm hanging out with a bunch of really dope artists, having a good time. So I think as the beautiful part of high school, if you're privileged enough, to have a roof over your head and not be too worried about like the financial side of things, is to be a kid and have fun with everything you're doing and like discover your strengths through that. And then like I was saying, kind of like follow. I think if you realize you have a knack for something in high school, I think a lot of times you get ostracized if you have like a weird hobby. Like when I was doing the music video stuff, I think people thought it was cool, but they would always, be like, what is that? You know what I mean? And I think you should like lean into your strength when you have one, even if it's something like, I don't know, like maybe you're fucking phenomenal at speed chess. Then you should do speed chess all the time and become one of the greats. You know what I mean?
100%. This ties into my another question I have, which is,
I like how you snuck that in there.
oh yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I just thinking, my bad. I got some mucus in my throat.
Let me clear my
throat. Let me clear my throat. But all right, so this ties into my other question, right? On college and high school, right? I see, and also jobs in general, 9-to-5 jobs, right? I have an article right here. If you don't mind me, I'm gonna pull it up on the video. You can see it right inside of me. On this article on Harvard Business Review, right? They're saying that workers don't feel like working 9-to-5 jobs. It's a safe bet anymore. I see a lot of college kids saying that I don't want to go to college because I want to start my own business. I want to be a famous YouTuber. Or you got these people working 9-to-5 jobs and saying like, oh, I'm done. I'm not working this. I'm gonna be my own businessman, right? Or a businesswoman. Right? My bad. So an article actually does say, it's very clear that workers, especially high-skilled, well-compensated ones, are voting with their feet. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that the same 4.3 million Americans quit their jobs, and this is in January 22 alone, right? Many of those jobs quit to turn on to self-employment, right? According to a McKinsey study, 31% of employees...
Is it just me? Is he getting really angry right now?
I'm getting passionate. 31% of employees who left their job in the past 6 months did so start a new business, right? And it also says in our 2021 survey of 6,240,000 U.S. workers, including 922 independent workers, have left their job and start because I feel more secure working independently and more in the firm. So what do you agree with that? Like, do you think that most people are just leaving 9 to 5
I don't
jobs?
even remember 10% of everything you just said. No, I think
if you're asking him,
I was gonna say
because
I think what's going on is entrepreneurship has been democratized, which is beautiful. Like YouTube and even just like Instagram Reels, TikTok has given anyone the access to hear people talk about how to start your own business, scale it, etc. So you don't even need to go to the bookstore anymore. It's just on your phone. You can figure out anything you need to know. But I also think that's given people an insanely false sense of how difficult entrepreneurship is, how invested you have to be in it to actually be successful at it, and how incredibly stressful it is to actually run a business. So I think like it makes sense that so many people are leaving to do it because now it seems so much easier and accessible for everyone. But I don't know I think a lot of people just realize off the cuff that if they were already struggling showing up to work 40 hours a week, like they're probably going to have some trouble trying to scale a business. Bro.
That's so real though. That's so real. I think I posted on my Instagram story. I think Dana White said it like, "Oh, I'm one of those people." By the way, they always says like, "Oh, I want to start my own business." It's like but then it's like starting your own business. You can add on to this if you want. You gotta work 40, 60 hours a week. You have to skip holidays. You gotta skip friendly events. You gotta skip family events to just work on this company. So do you think it's someone right now that's planning to quit college?
I do know a lot of guys that have their own business and women that are in a place where they're like really smart and they're created like some type of passive income machine where they have a business and that they are just able to tend to like 10 to 15 hours a week or something like that, and they're chilling and they have enough money. But I do think almost all of those people did have like their first big business where they had to grind on it like all the time, and then you get to that point where you're so good at business that you know how to put things in like a passive position. If that, you know what I'm saying?
No, I know what you're saying.
There's definitely people who are super like that are smart enough and right timing to get a business that you can work on and be super relaxed. But I think if you really want to change the world, then yeah, you got to be grinding all the time. And you're gonna want to, like, I don't work 60 hours a week because I have to. Like, I love what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Because you have a passion. You have a
I could work.
drive
I probably could get away with working 30 hours a week on Posh if I wanted to. I would just never want to do that.
It's because you have such like a big passion and drive for it.
Yeah.
So this brings me to my other question. Well, my next question: is college worth it? I finished college. Ruben didn't. No, unfortunately, he didn't want to. But it's fine. I actually don't care. You dropped out.
I dropped out. You know the Kanye Drake song? Dropped out of school, now we dumb, rich.
Yeah.
Pops out.
You know what I'm talking about? All right, because I don't. But
well, I don't think I'm qualified to answer that question because I didn't finish college.
Okay.
So what's your answer?
My answer, I think it depends on the person, on the career you want to do. Like if you want to start a business, like you said, go on YouTube. Go on YouTube. Or ask someone like you, or ask like a fellow friend, hey, how can I start this business? What do I have to do? I think but if you want to be a doctor or like a lawyer, you have to go to school, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. You want to be an actor? So I got my bachelor's in acting. Do I have to go to college for that? No. Do I need lessons? 100%. You definitely need, but do you have to go to college? No, you just go to, hey, ask a fellow actor, or go to an acting school, pay for 3 or 6 months, have acting lessons, boom. So I would have to say yes and no, but I like to add on, if you have no interest and passions. I just met someone not too long ago. She told me that I don't know what I want to do in college, or I don't know what I want to study. I recommend her to go to college. Go to community college so you have an idea of what you want to do. If you have no clue, and I have friends that do this, oh, I'm not going to college. Well, what are you going to do then? Oh, I'll figure it out. And then I'm like, bro, you have to go to college. Go to college.
I think that's a good way to look at it. Like, it's a great way to discover a passion or discover a field of work that you want to go into. Yeah.
Because if you're not starting a business or starting like next Tiesto or next, Posh, like go to college.
I think as a dropout, the thing that is kind of in the same vein as that is just like socially discovering yourself is so fun at college.
Yeah.
Like that's what I miss the most. I think is just meeting new people your age every day is very exciting.
I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree. Ruben, you want to add on to that, or
any crazy college orgy stories, anything like that? No.
No, you got no crazy stories, Ruben?
Unfortunately, no.
That's crazy. Before we get more into this business talk, right? I'm gonna take a little pause on it. I'm gonna ask some fun questions, right? I had some serious questions, but I'm gonna add some fun questions. So, what do you think about, speaking of education, what do you think about the education system today? Do you think it's succeeding, or do you think it's failing? And let's talk about America specifically, or New York even more specific. Do you think?
Not really qualified. I don't know enough about. Yeah.
You don't?
I hate when I watch a podcast. Like, I don't like watching podcasts where people give their opinions on shit that like where they want to seem so like thought out, and then they don't know anything about that topic. Like anything, like I'm building a company, it's going pretty well. So anything, and you can keep this in the podcast, I'm just saying this, like anything like entrepreneurship related, I feel like I at least have a story to tell. I'm not some 20-year veteran, and I don't want to come across as know-it-all in that either. But like, I don't like podcasts where you like watch some guy give their like expert take on some shit that they really know. Like the last time I read something even about the Department of Education or whatever was, I barely read anything on it. You know what I mean? So I don't know anything about that.
You know, that actually brings me to another fun question I have, right? You're talking about people that do podcasts and they talk about their opinions and all their, you know, controversial stuff. You know, what's your opinion on people like, you know, Mr. Beast, Andrew Tate, and those people? Do you think they're qualified? Do you think
those are two really
okay?
polar
Let's
opposite
talk
people.
about specifically Andrew Tate. I'm trying to get a little trying to start an argument here. What do you think about Andrew Tate as a person? Like, do you think like someone like him as a podcaster, as a influencer, do you think he benefits the education system or benefits society? You know, people our age, or do you think he makes it bad?
Yeah, I mean, I think he has said a lot of really horrible, hateful things that I do condemn. I think what piques my interest with him, not in a way of like admiration, but just like I'm tuned in, like seeing what happens with him, is I think there is this like massive hole in entertainment right now in terms of things that like stoke that classic like pride for masculinity. I don't know. I don't even know if you should put that in either, but I feel like there's
I'm not canceling you. I'm not canceling.
no, but I feel like there's like a lot of young men are craving stuff that teaches you more traditional things about masculinity and being a man of the house and all this stuff. And now it's like all because of woke culture, like a lot of it's not acceptable, which some of it shouldn't be acceptable, but other things like, I don't know. I think like as a man, it feels really good when someone makes you feel really manly and proud to be really manly. I don't know. And I think that there's a lot of people that have that hole probably that he's filling for them. The problem is that I also think that can get like really radicalized, and then men go too far. You treat women like shit. Like there's a very like specific way it should be done. And I don't, him like shirtless, smoking a cigar, yelling at people is definitely not the way to teach men how to be great men. But I see why. I guess what I'm saying is I see why so many kids are gravitating towards him right now.
You know, would you think someone like Tony Robbins to be a more inspirational person? Do you know Tony Robbins by any chance?
Author, right?
He's more than just an author. He's a public speaker. He's he's a businessman. He's a self-help guy. Do you think someone like him is more inspirational, or do you like? Because you said about masculinity, right? And Tony Robbins talks briefly about it. But do you think there's such thing? I guess you're saying as toxic masculinity, or just being a man in general. Like, do you think anything he says, like Andrew Tate says, to be disagreeable in your point of view?
Oh, Andrew Tate says a ton of stuff I disagree with. Yeah, and I do think that there is toxic masculinity that can very easily turn into misogyny and like speaking poorly about women. Yeah, I mean, I think all these self-help guys are different. I think I don't like the I like really watching podcasts and reading the guys that are in the field right now, like Brian Chesky, CEO of Airbnb. He's been coming out with a ton of great content, and he's still working on his business and like just scaled one of the biggest startups in the world. So those are the type of people that I really am tapped into. And I think it's really cool when those people, like, he comes into an interview and obviously the majority of the video is about business, but you can totally pick up tidbits about, like when Elon Musk does an interview too, you pick up tidbits about how he thinks about things, his lifestyle, political opinions, all that stuff. So with these really successful entrepreneurs, like I like paying attention to how they answer questions that are not always so related to the business. And I definitely like watching the same with really big artists that I admire, that type of stuff.
So what are 3 people that you admire that have taught you so much about business, life, being a man? If someone, like, do you read by any chance? You read your books?
I don't read as much as I should. I used to read a lot. Now I don't.
All right, what are 3 books that you can recommend someone that is trying to start up their career, either a startup business or anything in particular? Who do you think there are 3 top people in your opinion that you would recommend someone to?
People or books?
Let's start with people, and then we'll get to the books. Let's start with 3 people. Or if you can't answer the people, we can go to the books.
People that I admire that
Yeah, like 3 people in your life, like, oh, these 3 people have
obviously first,
inspired me so much in my life that they helped me so much.
yeah, I think all the men in my family really inspire me, so that would be a given. But after the men in my family, Drake, obviously I'm a massive Drake fan,
bro. What is up
I know,
with
so
Drake,
I just want
man?
to keep it real because I feel like most young entrepreneurs are gonna say like Elon Musk. Like Elon Musk is dope, but I actually really just admire Drake. I think when you actually look at Drake as a brand and not a person, it is one of the most genius entertainment brands to have existed in the last like 50 years probably, in terms of how many people that he's captivated and the way he keeps his story relevant and how he works with other artists. Like I think it is a masterclass on marketing. So that's why I actually admire Drake.
So you would pick Drake rather than?
There's a lot of bugs in here, man. What's
Oh
going
yeah,
on, guys?
they want you, bro. They want you. You rather pick Drake than someone like Kevin Hart that went from a comedian to become like almost billionaire at this point. Like, what makes Drake like so inspirational to you? Because you always talk about Drake. I really don't know much about Drake, to be honest with
Well,
you.
the
I just don't
biracial story is one thing. You know, Drake also white mom, black dad, and he talks a lot about how growing up, when he was with his white friends, he always felt like the black guy, and when he was with his black friends, he always felt like the white guy.
My bad.
But you know what I'm
No, I
you know
know
what I'm
what
saying?
you're saying. I know. What you're saying.
And I feel like I had to obviously like I felt there was no like crazy racism at our high school or whatever, but I did have that exact feeling a lot of times. Like when I would hang out with the white kids and I was the kind of like the different one, and then when I was with the black kids, I wasn't really black enough. Which Drake talks a lot about. So.
What does that mean? Black enough? I don't get it.
Oh, there's a difference.
Wait,
There's a
wait.
difference.
I'm actually the only white guy here. So can you elaborate more?
Well,
on
I'm saying
this?
black enough.
Meaning that like
Wait, let me hear what he said.
you know how me and Eli sound. We don't sound like.
Well, I code switch. So I might sound different at 2 different times of the day, or at 2 different times of the podcast.
He doesn't sound like he's from the projects, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're saying there is a difference between how we sound? Yeah,
Oh, there's a big difference.
110%.
There's
Yeah,
a
I thought you were
big
saying we sound similar. I was like, what?
difference.
But no, I
That's
guess
crazy.
black enough. Yeah, like culturally,
Yeah.
I'm in no way similar to an African American kid that grew up in the projects.
Yeah.
But with that being said, walking down the street, you would never. What are you gonna look at me and say? Oh, there's a white dude. So, no, but seriously, what Drake is saying is that I deal with everything that any black guy deals with, and when I walk into a room, a business meeting, I'm the black guy in the room, like straight up, like no, seriously. It's funny because of how I'm saying it right now, but I guess what I'm saying is,
You know what's crazy?
No, I'm gonna explain it right now.
We're in the multicultural center, and that's how crazy.
we're in
this
a
is.
multicultural center, but I think black guys from the projects a lot of times would look at someone like me and be like, oh, here's this suburbs kid that's so privileged.
Yeah.
You don't know about this shit. And there's a lot of parts of African American culture that I don't know about and don't understand. But what I do deal with 100% the same way is someone looks at me and knows that I'm a black guy. And so in business, in every sense, I'm dealing with everything that a dark skinned guy would deal with. And especially now, like, if you saw me on the street in this outfit, like, you stereotypically, no one would probably be like, oh, this kid owns a tech startup. You know what I mean? Like, you'd just be like, what the fuck? So, like, anyway, I think that's what Drake describes, is that exactly what you were saying. He sounds different than a black kid that grew up in the projects did. And he went through very different experiences and didn't have to experience all of that stuff, but he still deals with what it's like being a black guy in America. So
At the end of the day, he's still black.
yeah, his kid's a different story. I don't know about
That
his
kid is white, bro. That kid is white. You know. Okay, so besides Drake, who are 2 other people in your life that inspire you?
Well, I was saying, yeah, I mean, a lot of us at Posh have been sitting around Brian Chesky's stuff. I think he's really dope. Definitely been tuned in with him a lot recently. Um, yeah, I would say there's a lot of like big guys in tech that would all kind of be tied for me. I wouldn't want to like put any of them on the pedestal if I really look up to this guy. And a lot of them are so controversial too that it's like, I don't know. I think that's what's also cool about Drake and why I always say him is because it's such a like respectable choice in the sense that Drake's he's never had a single instance of like racism, being homophobic, mistreating a woman, or like some like harassment allegation. Like when you look at him, he actually has like a perfect track record, which being the size he is and to have not gotten accused of any of that shit is like, or I'm sure he did, but none of it actually he was guilty of, is crazy. Like he probably had to navigate a lot of shit to have that perfect track record, besides being a deadbeat dad. But
That's crazy.
That's I'm telling you, that's our.
no, but seriously,
that's
I
our
guess that's the
catchphrase.
only thing I would give him as like morally, and some other stuff. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
No, I know what you're saying.
It's a safe.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Like
And
I could say like Elon Musk is an interesting one now, where like from a businessman perspective, I massively look up to him, but he's saying a lot of stuff politically right now that I don't know if I would back up all of it. So it's like it's a dangerous choice now.
before I get into the growing up part, just to add on to what Elon Musk does. Do you think companies like Pepsi or your company or any company in particular should they get political? Like, should they really sponsor, like, I don't know, like,
No, I don't.
racial?
I'm completely. I think companies should be totally separate from politics. I don't think there's any room.
That's why I want to ask you.
That's why I'm
because-
being so careful with everything I'm saying right now, is because I don't even like putting my political opinions out there, because
No,
I know
yeah.
I would never want someone to be like, oh, so that's Posh's political opinion. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I totally, and see that's the thing. If you look back, before 2016 or even 2020, you could say anything you want, and people are like, all right.
Oh, we know. We heard you say a lot of shit, man.
Oh yeah, But now it's like you say anything, like you're canceled, which it's another conversation. So you answered my question with that. Now let's talk about growing up, right? Talk about being the odd man out and all that. Let's talk about fellowship. I actually have another article that I like to pop up on the screen real quick, and about Tony Robbins. I mentioned Tony Robbins for a reason. And the article is called "How to Surround Yourself with Good People." And I think he's told me this about 2 years ago, that you should surround yourself with people that are, I guess you say, successful, that are hardworking, so you can push yourself. And the article says, surrounding yourself with good people can affect every aspect of your life, from business to romantic relationships. When you surround yourself with positivity, you're more likely to adapt, empower beliefs, and see life as happening instead of you. So, to make things short, do you think someone like in high school, college, or even like our age, right, 24, 25, do you agree with what is the word? It's that phrase where I would say, you are who you hang out with. You are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself. Do you agree with that statement? Why or why not?
I mean, I didn't get your stuttering, but I was definitely
Did I
around
stutter?
you.
Did I
No,
stutter?
no, I'm saying that I didn't like absorb it from you. It was bad joke. Never mind. You know how because I hung around you a lot in high school.
That was a bad joke.
You get it now?
That was a
All
bad
right.
joke. Yo,
Cut-
Malik,
we'll cut that out.
what do you think about that joke, bro? Oh, that's terrible.
No, I think 110%. You're definitely the average of the 5 people you're around. I think that's why I try to hang around a lot of older people.
You trying to say?
And I definitely think someone that's really, really dangerous to be around is if you ever have those friends where like the 3 of us will talk about stuff and we get excited and like we'll talk about some idea. That's how we always were. But like there's other people where anything you talk about, it's immediately the pessimistic view of it. Like, nah, that's not a good idea, bro. Or like, yo, I hate like having to do blah, blah, blah. Or like, this isn't going to be that fun. Like, no one likes being around those people. And I think if you're around one of those people too much, you start gaining a lot of their pessimism.
Amen.
So I try to surround myself with people where they're not like, I don't like people that are fakely optimistic, where they say like, yo, McDonald's gonna be lit, right? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but I like people where they always are gonna look at the glass half full and say, oh, I'm really like I'm excited about blah blah blah, no matter what it is, so that we go into everything with a positive outlook.
So I definitely say it's what is it? it's easier said than done, right? That's how it goes. Easier said than done. Let's say you're hanging out with someone, um, someone. I won't mention his last name. Actually, no, I won't mention his name in general. Okay, let's say a friend you hang out with back in the day in high school and college, and you used to hang out with him all the time, right? I'm not gonna say his name because I don't know if he's gonna watch it or not. And I see that you don't hang out with him anymore. It is so my thing is like I say I have a friend that I have for like 10 years, right? My name is Thomas. I have a friend named James or Lucas for like 10 years. But I wanna go in this path. Should I drop Thomas or should I stay with Thomas? Or like, do you think you should go cold turkey, or do you think like, or just like less? Because people can misconstrue that phrase. Oh, you are hang out with. Oh, I'm done hanging out with Michael or Lewis. I'm done with that.
And that's a big aspect when it comes to like success too. There is like a lot of times where you do have to cut some people off in order for you to ascend. You know, so when it comes to those type of moments, what do you do? You know, like
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to know yourself really well, and I know that I need at least 2 or 3 really amazing friends in my life that have nothing to do with what I'm working on in business. Um, Guys that I can call where there's never going to be some weird money shit going on between us, and when we kick it, we're just kicking it to kick it. And I definitely have like a really solid circle of those guys around me. I'd say like 4 or 5 really core ones where I can just call them with anything. And also like when we go get dinner together, we're not like I have to even watch myself because I'm someone where I'll always be excited about some business shit. And now as I've gotten older, I feel like I've taught myself to have friends where like, yeah, we can get excited about business shit, but I would never involve myself with business with them because I know it would fuck up the friendship. And then, yeah, I think there's obviously when you start doing stuff that you want to do in life, whether they're pessimistic or they're kind of leechy off things or whatever it is, that you should be really cognizant of and get them out of the way quickly if they're a negative net return on their life. But yeah, I definitely would never say that you need to like leave your childhood best friend behind. Like there should always be room for the people that are emotionally supportive of you. And that have done a lot for you probably. Like I have a lot of friends like that, you guys included obviously, were like people that were friends with you for no reason are the realest friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then now my company is going well, like even within, like there's so many people that I meet on a daily basis now where if they just knew me as a person, they probably might not fuck with me. They might really be annoyed by me or not like my comedy. I don't know. There's a lot of things about me that someone could not like, as there is with anyone. And so now I have to be cognizant with all the new people in my life, like, oh shit, like, are we just doing business together so you're acting friendly, or like, do you actually fuck with me? So I think the guys that you like were just friends with you when you were kids for literally no reason, a lot of good guys that I'm thinking of now that I met like that through the music video stuff too. Those are the people that I think you should always like make time for and like keep around in some aspect. You know what I'm saying?
To add on to that about I like to phrase it as the snake in the grass.
Yeah.
Right? The snake in the grass. So since you have this big company now, making good money, you live in a nice neighborhood, right? And I'm pretty sure as Posh becomes more successful, he's gonna be making more money.
I'm not making a ton of money right now.
But my point is like,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do you think how do you know, like, how would I phrase this correctly? Like, do you have snakes in the grass right now? Like, do you know, like, oh, I know this person is just there for me because of my money, or they're just hanging out with me because of X, Y, Z? And you brought a good point about dating, right? Like, you're afraid, not afraid. I wouldn't say afraid. I'm putting words in your mouth. I'm saying like you are more careful of who you're gonna date in the future because you don't know if they're.
Well, I have a girlfriend right now.
I know. I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that. So he's got a girlfriend, guys. He's got a girlfriend. So my point is, like,
I get what you're saying though.
Are you cautious, or do you know? Are you aware?
I just had to cut someone. Actually, in all seriousness, someone that I've been hanging out with for like a year. We just had one of my other like best friends who's super solid. We like had to call him out about some shit, and we kind of like it ended the relationship, unfortunately. But dude, that's happened to me like in the last 4 years. That's happened all the time, I think. And I feel like what happens to me is like now, that's what I was saying is now with the 4 or 5 people that I have around me on a daily basis, I love them to death and I'm not worried even the slightest about any of them. But the people who are kind of like, oh, you known them for like a year, like there's a lot of guys like that yeah, recently like you'll discover some shit happen or that they weren't honest about something. I feel like now I've just learned to have such great like best friends that I don't put too much emotional, like I'm not gonna overhype a new friendship because I know that could happen. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know what you're saying. So like, but are you like more skeptical now when you meet someone, or let's say your girlfriend,
I guess what I'm saying is I don't really try to form relationships anymore in the first place where I have any sort of like emotional dependency on them to begin with, so that I never have to be in this scenario where I'm like, oh my God, like I can't believe you would do this to me, bro. You know what I mean? Like if you're not in my like really core group of friends, then I'll be kind to everyone I know, and I'm just not gonna try to be like, I'm not gonna tell you I'm not gonna be your brother like on like that. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. You have anything to tie on to that, Ruben?
No,
Come on, man. You got some good things to say.
I got nothing. You said 1 or 2 questions. I asked like 3 or 4 of them.
By the way, not to keep riding the shit out of Drake, pause, but
Yo, you like his Drake,
that's
guys.
one of the things that Drake, like, clearly you can see from the outside is that he has like 5 or 6 guys where if you look at pictures of him in like fucking 2005, they're the same guys in the photo now in 2024. And I think that's probably the reason why you don't see him in the news getting wrapped up in like crazy shit, because he has people around him that are keeping him grounded and they're always watching his back. And other celebrities, it's like, it looks like they're with a different group of people every single year. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. And well, this doesn't tie into my second to last question. Speaking.
Thank God, we almost do this. Let's go.
Yeah. I got 2 more questions to ask you. Guys, we're about an hour in. That's crazy. We're an hour in. Speaking of businesses, right, and people like Posh, right? I've noticed, and I've noticed a lot now that everyone's using AI, right? AI is a new big thing. All right, all people are using it like ChatGPT, like, oh, I'm doing my SEO in ChatGPT, and a lot of companies now are like using AI. Now, I keep talking about this conversation a lot with people about, they're like, oh, the company's firing half the staff, because like they're using computers now and machines. But let me tell you what, I'm gonna add on to that. I totally agree with that statement. I do. I feel like it's very sad. You gotta pay for your family, right? You gotta pay for your family. You gotta pay for your stuff. But there's one thing that I've noticed in the business network. You ever go to a place, right, and you want to like customer service on the phone, or you go to like a food restaurant or like a McDonald's, right, and you want to like talk to somebody? They're like, no, use that machine. Like, are you calling a company to fix your cable? They're like, oh, machine operated. Like, I'm trying to talk to a person, and then people are wondering why this AI is working. So my point is, my questions are, do you think AI is beneficial or non-beneficial? And then I will ask you the other 2 questions I have about AI. Let's start off the first question, right? Do you think AI is beneficial in businesses and the education system, or do you think it's unbeneficial?
Well, yeah, I mean, with the beneficial question, I don't think there's any blanket. I think it'll be like any big revolution in technology that's happened before, where there's going to be a lot of people that are on the bad side of it and a lot of people on the good side. I do, though, think that there are so many things happening in technology right now, a lot of which are related to AI, a lot of stuff related to like health, that will just be overall net positive for humanity. Like, I do think we'll get to a point in the next few decades, maybe way sooner, where a lot of like neurological diseases, cancers, like a lot of stuff technology will start to take care of, which will be incredible. And I think AI is going to be really useful in making a lot of that stuff happen. So I do think like it'll be a overall positive outcome for the world as a whole. But obviously in the short term, like you're saying, there's going to be businesses and jobs that get messed up. But I don't know, even for those people, like in their life, there's going to be other things that AI is helping them with. Like the irony of like maybe you lose your job because some type of AI is allowing the company to do it more efficiently, and then you put your resume together using ChatGPT or something like that. You know what I mean? At Posh, there's a lot of things that happened in the last year that are now going 50% faster or 200% faster because of AI. All of our engineers use GitHub Copilot, which is like an AI coding assistant. It is already filthy good, and every month it's obviously going to get better and better and better. It'll be twice as good next year. And our engineers are coding like way fast. Like when you code, it'll fill in like the next 5 lines, and a lot of times it's perfectly written. We're even integrating AI into the code review now, which also speeds up a ton of stuff.
Oh wow.
Obviously, the growth side of the company and marketing can use AI writing tools to not actually write the stuff, but just ideate or clean up something. So yeah, I think there's AI augmentation, which is like, how does AI make something incrementally better, not actually replace it? And that's what'll be really amazing for everyone, which I'm sure you guys with stuff like ChatGPT that's already available to you have already seen. Like, think about ChatGPT. That's what great technology really is the only thing that is actually finite for all of us is time. And so even for you guys, right? Think about like outside of the tech world, just in your day-to-day life, I'm sure you've used ChatGPT for something, right?
I at least 5 times.
That's what a great product really does, is it gives you back the one thing you'll never get more of, which is time. And so like, even for you guys, AI, there's probably, who knows, maybe 50 hours in the last year that it gave you back in your life that you would have spent doing something that you probably didn't want to do. Like, that's fucking crazy. Imagine if that 10x's in 2 years, and now you're getting a 100 days back a year that you would have been doing something monotonous that now AI has. We're following this one startup that we're all obsessed with at Posh. It's called Figure. It just raised a bunch of money, and they're building humanoid robots. And Boston Dynamics and some other startups are doing this too. But eventually, like, you're not gonna have to cook anymore. Like, there's just gonna be a humanoid in your kitchen making your meals.
That's crazy.
And this stuff is like 4 years away, probably. Like, that's it. Like, a lot of people don't realize is those of us who are in our 20s right now, like, by the time we get to our 30s, so technology exponentially grows, right? So by the time we get to our 30s, we're going to be shitting ourselves. Like, it's going to be ridiculous. So that was a super long-winded answer, but I think a lot of the stuff that's coming is going to be really amazing for quality of life in amazing ways.
You know, I 90% agree with that. And Ruben, I want your opinion on this after I'm done. 'Cause I want you, I love you. Like that big strike that happened with SAG, about the scripts and stuff, taking jobs away. I'm gonna be honest with you. I guess I can speak specifically on the acting industry. A lot of movies suck. They suck. A lot of movies just suck now. It's always the same shit, right? They suck, right?
Damn.
They do. I'm not saying.
I love it when he get upset like that.
I know, I do, because it makes me so upset. Like, a lot of movies, bro, they suck so bad. And honestly, some of these AIs make better movies than these people. I know. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. Even like music, bro. Like,
I don't think we're there yet with movies. I disagree, but I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying. But even with music, with AI, I just made a remix, and you can like make AI beats. Like Boots and Cats. Instead of me doing Boots and Cats, I can make an AI do it for me, and I'll make a chord progression. Boom, AI does it for me. Oh, thanks so much. Like you said, save so much time.
But think about, to me, the perfect analogy there is like, AI aside, right? Let's look at YouTube. Before YouTube, think of all the people that could not be a music producer.
Books.
And think of all the people now that have been given the joy of being a music producer, or huge DJ or producers that have made millions and millions of dollars, all because YouTube democratized the ability to learn about that for the first time. Now, you can look at that one of two ways, which is A, it's beautiful that something got democratized and that all these people have access to it, or B, that now it's not as special because before it had to take all this like learning and classes and investment. And AI, it's the exact same thing what you're talking about now. Like, democratizing stuff is going to mean more people can be filmmakers. More people will have films that they don't think suck, that are perfectly tailored for you. But also, there's this lack of authenticity because now film directors aren't this really exclusive, hard to accomplish thing. So like, You know what I'm saying? Like you can really think of it both ways for everything.
Yeah, I guess if there's good, there's also evil. 100%. What do you think, Ruben? AI?
Man, fuck AI.
Why?
You're on the negative side.
Yeah, what's up
No, I'm
with that?
joking. I think I wouldn't know much about AI. I think AI is cool.
Like, bro, you can like use AI now to even like make graphic design now.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. I think AI is cool, but yeah, I don't have an opinion for AI. I think AI is cool. Um, it's evolving pretty fast,
Oh yeah.
really fucking fast,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and it scares me sometimes. But
Like, you know what's so crazy, bro? Like you mentioned about this company like making robots. Like, bro, like they're making robots now where
I'm not been
they
talked about that.
no, but it's crazy, bro. Like iRobot or like Terminator, bro. Like it's happening.
Not been
It
talked
really
about
like,
that.
bro, it's crazy. Like they make these robots and like these like they're so smart, bro. Like they're so smart. Like and it just feels like, well, we're getting to that point. You have to watch iRobot to understand this. But like this robot, like you said, robots cooking for you, bro. Robots.
And that's kind of what I'm saying is like if we have the chance with AI to cure cancer, cure Alzheimer's, feed way more people, discover other technology in other sectors that helps the world as a whole. Like, want it to get there, you take the chance of all the negative things that come with AI. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
I know what you're saying.
yeah.
Okay, my last question. So you never answered this question. The 3 books. What since you used to read? He doesn't read anymore. This guy. What 3 books have changed your life in like a dramatic way? Like, oh wow, this book, goddamn, it taught me so much. I'm gonna read it again. I'm gonna read it again. You know what I'm saying? What 3 books can you, I guess, recommend to someone?
The Bible.
But
No.
I told you to believe in God. You said no.
The Bible's actually a really good book, though. There's a lot of good lessons in the Bible.
Oh yeah, I tell that.
Mm, I don't think I read enough, bro. Because I can't, like, I'd be capping if I just said a book right now. Because, bro, YouTube really changed my life, to be honest with you. I'm just I'm not going to sit on here trying to sound like some really, like, smart. But I did used to read a ton in my childhood. I don't read as much now. We were actually just talking about this in the office because we were saying that there's a lot of bugs in here. We were saying how like we don't read enough, and someone was like, well, if you're getting all the information that you would want to get from books and you're just consuming it faster, then it's probably okay. But I do think there's so many like classic books where obviously it doesn't hit the same if you're not reading it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like,
But yeah, I think YouTube
reading it is
really
completely
changed my life.
different.
I'd rather give you like 3 YouTubers that basically taught me
The
everything.
YouTubers, go ahead.
3 YouTubers. How would I rank these?
Give me my life, anything, business.
Casey Neistat, fire New York, like classic New York City YouTuber. It's another guy named Ben Brown that I used to be obsessed with. He was like the South Africa travel guy, but his aesthetic and like the music he used and the edits he would make, I feel like I got so much like style from that. And there's a bunch of like, damn, this is OD, bro. What's going on with all these bugs, man?
There actually is a lot of bugs. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's that.
What about you, Ruben? So people can have an opinion about you, bro.
Whoa.
3 inspirational people, 3 inspirational books that changed your life. One or the other.
People.
Yeah, people.
I can say my dad.
Okay.
That's a big one for me. My BOCES art teacher, Mr. Powers.
Mr. Powers. Yes, sir.
Mr. Powers. I wasn't really big on art and everything else before I got to BOCES, but after that, Mr. Powers taught me a lot about digital art in general. You know, different techniques, different pencil techniques, color techniques, so on and so forth. So I appreciate him. One more person.
Take your time.
I mean, those are 2 fantastic answers. Off
The
the
hobo
bat.
from the gas station, man. He
Wait.
taught me a valuable
Wait a
lesson,
minute,
man.
hobo?
Word up. You know what I'm saying, man? Word up. Hobos from gas stations, man. It's just random old people, man. Random old people be cool, man. They give out
What'd they
the
say? What'd they say?
What's
very
the guy
great
saying to you?
wisdom, man. You know what I'm saying? Just worry about the present moment. A lot of times we focus too much
He's
on
like
the
standing there masturbating like on the gas.
What
Worry about right now.
He was doing something sick before he told me that life lesson. He was like, listen, man, don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future, man. All that shit's imaginary. Only focus on the present moment. And ever since he said that, my anxiety decreased dramatically.
Really?
So I appreciate him for that.
That's beautiful.
Well, I can't believe a homeless person change your life, but that's crazy, bro. You know,
I mean, they probably think all day.
Yeah.
no, it's true. They probably think all day.
I guess we all think all day.
We all do.
Hopefully.
I would have to say for me,
You be having these little pauses sometimes. That's when the loading circle's just going around.
it's processing right now. It's processing. No, I would have to say my grandpa, 100%. Rest in peace, my grandpa, 100%. I would have to say Coach Corey Wayne.
Who? Yes,
Coach-
speaking of Mike.
Sorry, Coach. So my first one's my grandpa. Second one is Coach Corey Wayne, 100%. I know you might. I know you find that crazy, but I'm being so serious. It changed my life and so.
From the high school?
Huh?
Who?
No, no, not the fitness guy. You know, that's so funny.
Oh.
Everyone says that. No, he talks a lot about relationships, dating.
Oh, it's like
and
an
life,
internet
and
person.
life. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, 100%. And I would have to say the Bible, like Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get into it. I like to end on this conversation on religion. You know, I used to be an atheist a long time ago. Then I became an agnostic, and then I became a Christian. And I have to say that living this type of life, or trying to live this type of life, because you're not perfect, is inspirational. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll say, like, a lot of people don't believe in God, and I just find it. You know, I used to be there. You know what I'm saying? I used to be there at a point where I just feel like when you start reading the Bible or start praying, like your life changes. You like Ruben, you're a contestant. Now you go to church every Thursday now, for God's sake, you know, and it changes your life dramatically. And I just feel like you start reading the Word of God, right? That's number one. And honestly, you can look about religion in a logical standpoint. I'm not gonna talk spiritual. I'm gonna talk logical about religion, right? Whatever religion, you know, is chaos. It is complete chaos, and I just feel like, you know, nowadays with like my generation and the next generation, no one believes in God.
Religion also causes a lot of chaos.
It could. It depends who is preaching the word. I think, I think it's a great testimony. If you talk about like a country like Dubai, right? They believe in Allah, and they have no crime. They have nothing. They keep it very serious. Well, they have crime, but not very compared to America. I just feel like when you have God in your life, bro, your life changes dramatically. And people say, "Oh, but why? But what do I have cancer? Or what do I have this?" I'm like, bro, that's what we have heaven for, bro. That's why heaven's for. This is like the game right now. This is the test trial, and we have God. You have anything to add on, guys, about God, about Jesus, about any religion? To be honest with you,
I just love everyone. Be kind, man.
all right.
But I love that we wrapped up the little mini sermon.
Love is the greatest feeling, guys, man. You guys already know,
100%.
man. Make sure you guys lead with love, not with hate. And
honestly, you know, I'm gonna say thank you again, Eli, for coming. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Wisdom.
I'm honored to be the first guest.
Oh,
Let's go.
100%. We're having more guests, different kind of guests. My boy Malik, camera, you know, helping out with the cameras right there. My boy Ruben right here. Fancy Hill. Yo, we're gonna be making more videos coming up. We're gonna talk about business. We're gonna talk about God. We're gonna talk about all that kind of stuff, education stuff, everything, music, acting, you name it. So waves on air, baby, right? Waves on. Oh yeah. All right, peace out.